Chicago, thank you for fucking being here. Most of you know, some of you know, we came up here, we played here a million times, we played fucking garages, basements, everything in between. It keeps fucking growing. That's because you motherfuckers, for real, thank you. For real, thank you. We're about to jump out of here. All fucking hands on deck right now! This is it! This is it! Bring the bodies to me! Bring the bodies to me! They hate us! They shoot us, fuck, and rotate us! But they all know there's one fucking thing! Hold on! Let's remember! Hold on, hold on! This is for my brothers, veins! Something's happening in this fucking room! Cause this is the new reality! You gotta step me up! You gotta move! You gotta move! Put 'em up! Put 'em up! 2, 1.
What's up? I'm Mark.
Hey, what's up? I'm Lucas.
We're Veil of Maya, and here we are in the band's hometown of Chicago to celebrate the holidays.
Yeah, Christmas show.
After the show, we're gonna start writing again.
The one thing with the album now that, diving into writing, we're all just going to be there together a lot of the time, but Falsetto, yeah, it definitely is over a year old now.
Me and the art guy at Sumerian, we both said Falsetto at the same time pretty much. It's like, oh, that's the sign, we gotta use this, there it is.
Sumerian sent it over, I was like, what about Falsetto? And then Mark was like, me and Max just said that today, but they didn't email it yet, but Sumerian did.
Y'all believe in magic?
Magic the Gathering? He was on one side of LA working with a producer.
The guy that I worked with was named Max Shad.
I was on the other side of LA working with a different producer.
He worked with Brandon Paddock.
Yeah.
We were just like, okay, so we'll do the music and then you guys do the vocals,
Yeah.
and we put it all together.
When I first got out there, we had like three or four songs that he gave us right away.
It's like an assembly line.
Yeah. Something new was happening every day. If there wasn't a new instrumental put together, at least there was a new song or two that had vocals on it now.
On the spot, like just right then and there in the studio, you'd get a song that day, and then they would be done with their part by the end of the day.
Yeah.
To elaborate, this album was made to be like a concept where the lyrics told the story. When Lucas submitted all the lyrics to the album, he would have like a little paragraph underneath telling which part of the story, what was specifically happening, what the lyrics meant.
I'd have a list of lyrics that was written out more like a poem than anything because I was writing it to no music. Then I'd hear a song and we'd wipe out a ton of it, and we'd rephrase lines, change up syllables. It was kind of like flashbacks. So the song order isn't necessarily the story order.
Hell yeah, y'all still doing all right out there tonight, Chicago?
Say you're watching a show, it usually starts with a big event and then find out the backstory, halfway through or something like that. So there's a few moments that would go backwards.
To me, it just gets to be a little bit more fun when I have a collective to look at rather than song by song. An album So you really only need a character or two. If I'm gonna need like 12 topics, 12 songs. The more you write stories, the better you get at it, and the easier the process gets. I have been like watching Narcos and Breaking Bad. It's so interesting to me, the mind of a villain, and you know, I'm gonna become this, so how can I understand it? We just write about it, and we do research on it. Current events play a role every now and then.
Did it happen around the same time as Trump getting elected when we were in the studio?
Kinda, yeah. So the song Tyrant, the lyrical content is actually about that area in Syria that just got poisoned. Apparently the US fired some missiles at them, so that was pretty political.
Can you describe your tour experience of 2018?
We went to Europe with Dance, and we toured the States with Under Oath, and then Slaughter.
Oh, we went to India too.
We went to India early, that's right. Yeah, that was this past year, wasn't it?
Want to know the secret about Jen? I'll
Alison
say the
Hagar.
interview. Okay, check it out. Back in the 90s or something like that, there was a Meshuggah interview. Homie was trying to like describe the sound that his guitar was making, and he said like, you know that gent sound, like that's, we do it like by doing this or whatever. Periphery were big Meshuggah fans, obviously, and they started putting that on their merchandise. Booty shorts that said like, be gentle, and they had shirts that said got gent and all this. And then all these kids, they pretty much like were like, gent, oh, that's a genre. It was all because of some Periphery merch, and they just rolled with it. Now it's like a Spotify playlist.
And a drum kit on Superior Drum.
Yeah, I'm super excited. You know, Will Swan Dance Gonna Dance is their festival. We get to throw an awesome show, big parties, and a big celebration for everything that we've all done together. So
Yeah, that's gonna be a good time for sure.
Thank you.
we haven't been to Australia in almost 5 years. A lot of our material will be brand new to them. But yeah, obviously we'll play a lot of Fall Size Idol and
The whole world's gone crazy! Am I the only one around here who gives a shit about the rules? Get up, that sound! Let's go!
favorite animated villain. I
The
can
Grinch.
think of so many. The Grinch.
The Grinch.
Alright.
He's a semi-villain who was converted into
an anti-hero.
Yeah.
Or something. I think
Yeah,
so.
there's gonna be in the Grinch movie. I'll probably gonna see it.
Griffith from Berserk. That's my favorite. Berserk. Check it out. Brand of Sacrifice. Respect.
It's festive. It's time of year. You know, it's a cool thing to do.
Merry Christmas, Chicago!
Hey, this is Diamante, and you're watching Head Rush TV.
My name is Alison. Thank you so much for joining us, Diamante.
Thanks for having me.
This is your first tour with Bad Wolves, correct?
Yeah, I went on a little 2-week short run right before this tour just to sing one song with them on stage, but this is the first actual tour that I get to do a full set, so yeah.
Amazing. Was that when they invited you to play with Five Finger Death Punch?
Yeah, that was so much fun. That was an arena tour, so very different from this. But I love both worlds, and it's so cool to be back in the small clubs and to really be face to face with people again.
Absolutely. So tell us about your new album. It's coming out next Friday, right? June 15th?
Next Friday. Yeah, coming in hot, you guys. This is my first full-length album, and it took, I've been writing and recording since 2016. This album has been such a long process, and I can't believe that it's finally coming out in the world.
Wow, incredible. We have previewed the singles that have already come out. So Coming in Hot, Bulletproof, War Cry are some of the top singles. Could you explain, we did see that there was Volume 1 and Volume 2 that came out this year. So would you be able to explain the transition of how those singles came out and how it manifests into the debut album?
So one of the biggest themes of the album, I feel, is duality. Just even color-wise, the red and the blue. Before this album, I had put out music that was very strong and in your face and fierce, and I call that the red side. And while that is a side to me, was still this whole other side that I hadn't shown the world, being vulnerable, being scared, being sad, and to me that's the blue side. And so that's why I felt it had to be split up into 2 volumes, Volume 1 being the red, Volume 2 being the blue, and the blue one has, ballads and love songs, and so that's why we split it up into 2 parts, but all, Coming in Hot is gonna have all songs from Volume 1 and Volume 2, plus new songs.
Wow, incredible. So you released a few music videos and million views already on a few of them, right? Could you describe the recording process for the music videos?
Coming in Hot, we actually shot that at my producer's house, Howard Benson, and because we needed a pool in a house, and he's like, just shoot it at my house. And it's cool because that's actually where I recorded Coming in Hot. So it was full circle almost. And that was an all-day shoot. We had a bunch of extras of the old people who came to be in the video. And then there was a pool scene at nighttime, which was freezing. It was so cold, but you could never tell in the video. And then Hot Enough, we actually shot in the Mojave Desert. And that was based on Thelma and Louise, which is my favorite movie of all time. And that was one location. Then we drove 2 hours to a second location just to shoot the diner stuff. So it's always this big adventure and all these crazy stories, but shooting music videos for me is so much fun.
And you can really resonate that you have a lot of craft in the music video. It's very authentic and individual to your style and very creative, very female empowering too, especially Had Enough. I love the scene in the diner. And was that one of your friends that was sitting next to you?
Yeah, it's so cool because she's actually one of my real life friends from college, and I needed, a partner in crime. And funny enough, all my friends in LA couldn't do it because they were busy, and so I asked her, and she was like, of course, yeah, let's do it. And we were talking, as we were shooting, how those situations in that diner literally will happen to her all the time in real life, and she'll just freeze up because that's what we tend to do. So she said it was very empowering for her to be able to act out something that she normally wouldn't do in real life.
Absolutely. That's one of the moments that really stuck out to me in the video as far as feminism and empowerment. So I really give kudos to you and the legend that you're leaving behind. So I wanted to touch base on Howard Benson. So you said that you recorded with him, and he's a legendary figure. He just released with 3 Days Grace, correct? And
this is Howard Benson.
All That Remains, and who else? Escape the Fate. And then I think In Flames, but even just some of my childhood favorites, Kelly Clarkson, My Chemical Romance, Hailstorm. I was like, this guy really created all the music that I grew up listening to. So it was so perfect that my first album was done with him. Like, he understood that 80s flair, that young feeling and that energy and that rawness that I wanted. And from then on, I actually would just go into a bunch of sessions with all these songwriters. Like, every day would be somebody new. And through the course of this 18 months, I picked up on so many tricks songwriting, lyrics and melody. And Howard would sit with me, and we would go through all these demos that I would write, and he would say, yes to this, or no to this, or this could go this way, or this needs to be changed to this. And he was always thinking in the back of his mind how all these demos would become one full body of work. So he was kind of like the glue, like the guiding force.
Wow, that's really incredible. I did read or hear in a previous interview that you did mention that he sort of helped have the talk about vulnerability.
Yeah, he was actually the one who pushed me to go there, because he told me, like, people resonate with music and people connect to your music when you're honest and when you tell people what you're really feeling. And I realized, wow, I hadn't really gone there fully because I was afraid to. So I was, Howard was really the one who pushed me to go there, and I'm so glad that he did.
You had such an empowering childhood, like already at such a young age, at 15, I want to say, you were already playing shows, and I think I heard that you went to School of Rock while you were summer camp or something.
Yeah, I was 14 when I first went to this School of Rock summer camp, and that's when I was first exposed to rock music, and I got to sing Led Zeppelin and I think Blondie and Black Sabbath, and that was the exact moment I knew that rock music was what I wanted to do, and just play rock music on stage. And so when I was 15, I started playing shows on the Sunset Strip, and I would have all my high school friends come to the Whiskey or come to the Roxy. It was so much fun, and I think if I hadn't gone through all that performing and playing since an early age, then I wouldn't be so ingrained now with my performing.
To that, I think you mentioned in one of your label, 11/7 Music is...
Yeah.
Okay, so you all put out some videos, episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, and I remember that it said that at one point your family moved to Mexico. Would you tell us about a background of your culture?
So my mom is Mexican and my dad is Italian. It's cool because I think having all these different backgrounds and cultures really actually resonates in my music. Like in this album, I actually get to sing in Spanish. So that was really cool, and I want to do that more in the future also.
Lo Siento, right, is the name of the song? Yeah. Is the last track of the album, correct?
Yeah. Originally it's for the song called I'm Sorry, and it was just so cool to sing it in Spanish because for some reason when you sing in Spanish, it's just such a pretty romantic language and it emotes all of this passion, and it's like the song tapped a different side when it was in that language. So that's why I want to do that with the other songs as well.
Wow, that's super fascinating. It really reminds me of, and I also speak Spanish, so I really resonate. Yes, it's very rare to find an artist that will establish themselves in 2 languages, and it reminds me of a young Shakira almost.
I love Shakira. She was when I was growing up, I would sing all her songs in English, and I would sing all the same exact songs in Spanish. So that's so cool that you said that.
80s influences, Joan Jett, of course, and she was part of the Runaways. In the past 2 days, while you've been on the road, what's sort of been your go-to?
That's funny that you mentioned that because, the 80s women and 80s rock will always be my all-time influence. People ask me, who inspires you musically? That's them. But when I just listen to music every day, it's any genre, really. I don't stick to one genre. Even me and the guys in the band right now, when we're just driving for hours, our playlist is so diverse. We'll go from Marilyn Manson and Rob Zombie to The Weeknd, then we'll go to Post Malone, and then we'll go back to I think we're back to Metallica. So that's what's cool is that and I think that reflects in my music too. You hear a lot of pop elements, you hear some alternative elements, and that's really because I listen to everything.
Wow, that's really encouraging and really cool to hear that you have such a variety of influences. Last thing is, how did you meet your current touring members? And I do recall that at one point you had an all-female tour.
2 years ago or 3 years ago, I had the all-female band, and they were super awesome, but a lot of them are in other projects now, and some of them have actually moved out of the country. So I had to find new players, and lucky enough, Max, who plays guitar, has actually been one of my best friends for a while. So he's in the band right now. And usually when I look for players, I ask other musicians or I network buddies, and or like LA has a lot of musicians to choose from. So sometimes I'll just do like a little round of auditions, and then I'll get to know the guys or the girls, and then from there we just go. I mean, it's been crazy with these guys. We had a week to rehearse before this run, and people are like, how many years you guys been together? I'm like, a week. but it's awesome, and it's been a lot of fun, and they're really cool.
Awesome. Well, we're really excited to see the performance and coming in hot. So would you care to share some of your favorite songs from the album to perform live?
Oh, okay. So my favorite one to perform live right now is War Cry, just because I get to be so angry, and I don't get to do that in everyday life, so it just comes out on stage, and it's so powerful, and it has this like we will rock you vibe. So that one's fun. Bulletproof is also another one I like. But yeah, coming in hot, June 15, almost here, next Friday.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Diamante, for spending the time with us. We encourage you to visit her web pages. Would you care to share your socials?
Yeah, so my Facebook is This Is Diamante, Instagram is This Is Diamante, and Twitter is Diamante Band. And you can find all my tour dates at thisisdiamante.com.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Chicago, wake the fuck up!
I'm Ryan and I play guitar.
I'm Meredith and I play drums. We are currently at the Bottom Lounge where we just finished playing a show with Vale Maya.
I'm John and I'm the vocalist.
How would you describe your music to
Someone that's never listened.
It's like a mixture of a lot of elements of like modern metal music, but also in combination with early 2000s new metal, like Linkin Park, Korn, Slipknot, System of a Down, yeah. So we all love all of those bands, and a bunch of other metal bands who just stand.
And then kind of adding a twist to a lot of bands that come from Chicago. We tend to have this aggressive sound to it, at least in the 2011 to 2016 year.
Today, like we had Scott from the Levitated Village.
Yeah, and he was really getting into it, and we
Yeah.
appreciated that. He showed that he cared,
He had a lot of energy,
and
yeah.
that's what matters.
It's a
We
different
had
form. It's like,
3 guest vocalists.
Oh, we did, yeah.
And we had Dylan Greenhill. He's from a band called Immortalis. He's a good friend of ours. He did our song, The Past Tense. Tonight. Then we had our friend Christian. He came up for Tapeworm. He's the vocalist of The Levitated. And then we had our friend Nick Nessie. He actually raps in a project called Better Halves, and he also does his own side thing called Manic. So.
To have like a guest vocalist. It it happens a lot. Like
Yeah.
it's not like a staple of ours or anything, but like if we have a friend there is a good vocalist and like they can do the spot, like we're gonna be like, yeah, of course.
There's always like one person, almost every show, that really wants to get up there because they feel passionate about either the lyrics in the song or the song in general, or
More often than not, when people come up and do guest vocals for us, those people will be like, no, personally,
or just like someone that really likes victims, and
Vocalists
they've
that
reached
like
out to our page and they're like, hey, can I do this spot? They usually are pretty respectful. If you're talking about guest vocals that we've got on our album, for that, we don't have tryouts for that. We normally hit up somebody that we feel might give a new approach to the vocals, and someone that differs from what John does. Because everybody that we've ever gone, I feel like, has a totally different vocal style than John, and that's the purpose of it. And we want to make it more of like a hip hop thing where people are always featuring. And I don't know, I think it's a cool vibe, and metal doesn't really have that. So.
Our song Tapeworm, like Connor from Sabella does the guest spot for like the heaviest part of the whole song.
He matched it perfectly, and he did his own lyrics for that one, and that was one of the only spots I didn't write. And I loved it. He just sent it to us, and he's like, here you go. So we just finished playing the show. Right now, we have one tour that we just confirmed for early 2019. It's going to be a lot of days. It's going to be fully West. So we're really excited. We're a lot of heavy bands. So that's all I can tell you right now, but I'm really excited for this tour. The biggest thing we've done so far as a band.
As of right now, we have started working on another album, but as far as that goes, it's going to be a little ways down the road.
But thank you for having us. And we appreciate it.
Thank you, everybody. We're victims.
Hi, I'm Elijah Witt from Cane Hill. We are currently on our headlining tour, first one ever. We're halfway through, ends November 3rd at our hometown. We just put out 2 albums this year, Too Far Gone, our second full length, and we put out a live album called Cane Hill Live from the Bible Belt, which is very sick. Yeah, Drew Falk is, and we've been working with him up until this point. He is a genius. If this is what you have, he's going to expand an entire universe around it. So we put out Live from the Bible Belt recently, just kind of because we grew up listening to Pantera's live album. We grew up listening to Metallica live.
Thank you so much for coming to 147 Live.
We are the mosquito. New Orleans and Louisiana have a lot of mosquitoes. If you open it, you'll see a spoon with the liquid that's dropped off of it, which is supposed to obviously represent hard drugs. We started dipping into the world of LSD and psychedelics on Warped Tour 2016 with the help of some of our friends. Andy and Crown the Empire gave us our first taste of LSD.
Hey, it's Andy from Crown the Empire, and we're gonna play Never Have I Ever. I got this hit of acid tattooed on me on Warped Tour 2 years ago. We went to Sedona, Arizona, and it was gorgeous. We rented a lake house and looked at rocks for, 15 hours straight, and then bats came out of caves and flew around us.
As people, we chased death when we were doing Smile. Like, we wanted to see how close we could come to dying, and if we died, and it was what it was. And then with Too Far Gone, after chasing death for so long, after we had done the copious amount of LSD that we had done, which again, I don't think I recommend people do, I want to make that really clear. The thing is we did all of this specifically for the music. We pushed ourselves, that way we could create something that was beyond what we had already done.
Y'all are interested in science, it seems like.
The metaphysical and philosophy, definitely. I was a history major, and my mom is a therapist, so I've kind of grown up in this why house. Growing up studying the Holocaust, studying the rise of Hitler, what Hitler did when he rose to power was all the checks and balances, he swayed them in his favor to make it to where he could change the law to where there could be a dictator or totalitarian government. Trump, we're looking at somebody who has supported and postured white supremacist movements.
Has Donald Trump in the mansion? It's not walls! Bridges not walls!
Rose to power the same way Hitler did, by targeting the disenfranchised with empty promises, or pinning the problems on ethnic groups, knows it's racist, fears nothing. His recent Supreme Court nominee who made it, he put somebody like essentially on his payroll, whether it's just ideally or physically being paid off. So he's decimating the checks and balances in his favor. And then he was quoted saying recently he thinks America can one day have a president for life.
And she is a great gentleman. He's now president for life. I was able to do that. I think it's great. Maybe we'll have to give that a shot someday.
I've read enough about genocide to know how easy it is for it to happen. I mean, you can look at the Israeli state currently. They're modeling a lot of their decisions against Palestine off of Nazi Germany. I mean, it happens across the world. I think that this entire scene has become really weak when it comes to speaking out against what needs to be spoken out against. Whether personally, I am a big fan of civil discourse. I understand that other people have other ideas. The people who you see walking out of our shows because Lauren said, fuck Donald Trump, and they don't think that that deserves to happen. Lauren from Sharp Tooth.
Donald Trump!
They should be spoken to and made aware of what's wrong with what they're doing. I'm Elijah Witt from Cane Hill, and this is a video.
Here we are on the disease tour. But what's important about that word is that that is what it is. It's a disease. Just like all of you, we are not different. We all have our struggles. The song is called Disease.
But I just pretend. Is it taking over? Will it bury me? Or will clarity become the cure for my disease? Falling apart while I'm trying my hardest. Looking for It is rock and roll. I don't know about you. Let's
fuck.